Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to Up with KREM on this Good Friday. I'm Tim Pham. Well, we are just days away from Easter, and so everyone wants to know what the weather forecast is looking like as we head on out to Mass and church and gatherings, as well as Easter egg hunts. We can't forget about that, Thomas. So what's the Easter egg hunt forecast look like?
That's my favorite part of Easter. And I know it gets competitive, especially when there's candy or money in the eggs per se. Yeah, this weekend is looking really nice and honestly pretty warm, with temperatures likely going to hit 60 for the first time this year. But today, a little bit more subdued thanks to the rainfall in the region. It's just scattered at the moment, not raining over Spokane, but looks like it is over Coeur d'Alene. A little band of some showers is hugging that Highway 95 corridor right through Coeur d'Alene and even Post Falls. And this activity is going to last throughout the day today. But boy, is it mild. First thing this morning, it's 7 a.m. and already well into the 40s most everywhere.
This morning, the city of Spokane is scrambling to find funding that will keep its homeless shelter open. Under the current funding model, it can't afford operating costs for the Trent or Cannon Street shelters. This year, the city is facing a $4 million deficit for shelter expenses. Next year, that deficit soars to $10 million. The cost to run the Trent shelter doubled from $6.5 million to $13 million. And that is because the Salvation Army runs the shelter at a higher cost compared to the city's original contract with the Guardians Foundation.
We might have to make budget cuts, or we might have to have a local tax that we put on the ballot in November. Those are all options that are on the table. Nobody's excited about them, but our job and the mayor's job is to propose a balanced budget that doesn't create a public health crisis.
There is also a proposal to temporarily shut down the Cannon Street shelter to save on costs. So this comes as the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development awarded more than $4 million to the city of Spokane. It's to help people and families experiencing homelessness move into permanent housing. Some of the funded projects include multiple Catholic charities, transitional housing sites, and Volunteers of America shelters. The funding is a part of about $3 billion being distributed to address homelessness in cities across the country. Meanwhile, over in Olympia, housing advocates, including those from Spokane, are working to pass legislation they say would help meet the state's need for affordable housing. House Bill 1628 would create a permanent funding source for affordable housing. Right now, funding is based on the capital budget. The bill includes a real estate excise tax at the state and local levels.
The passing of this would mean dollars that we could use for construction and acquisition of affordable housing to make sure our neighbors have access to a home, which I believe is a basic right of everyone who chooses to live in our communities.
Right now, the bill is in committee in the House. The Department of Commerce says Washington state needs to add more than 1 million homes over the next 2 decades in order to keep up with population growth. That is about 50,000 units each year. In the meantime, owning a house in Washington may get easier thanks to new funding from the Department of Commerce. Commerce is investing just over $24 million to create and support home ownership opportunities throughout the state. 21 new proposals, including 2 in Spokane County, were awarded grants. Habitat for Humanity Spokane in Deer Park and Airway Heights will receive a total of $2 million. Commerce says these projects will create about 242 new home ownership opportunities by building new homes, townhomes, and expanding down payment assistance. It's time for your morning rush. More news in less time. Happening now, Airway Heights police need help finding a wanted man. Police believe Jesse Burbner may be involved in assaulting an officer. He also has an active arrest warrant from the Department of Correction. Burbner drives a 2021 Chrysler 300 with a California license plate. Anyone with information is asked to contact detectives. To an update this morning, an Idaho judge ruled that the grandmother of J.J. Vallow will be allowed inside the courtroom for the trial of Lori Vallow. She is charged with killing 2 of her children, Tylee and J.J. J.J.'s grandfather will also be allowed in the courtroom, but only after he finishes testifying as a witness in the case. Jury selection is underway right now, with opening arguments expected to begin on Monday. New parking meters are on their way to the streets of downtown Spokane. Last week, the Spokane City Council approved a $1.8 million contract for the third phase of the new parking meter project. The first two phases were completed last year. The goal is to overhaul the system since drivers say they've had enough of the old meters.
They're really crappy, and it'd be great if we could replace them. We put money in them. They don't work. They take the money. We end up getting tickets.
Yeah, frustrating. The plan is to purchase about 900 single space and more than 200 dual space parking meters. And that is a look at your morning rush.
And now, the Storm Tracker 2 Snow Report, sponsored by Platinum Mechanical.
Well, we're getting into the middle part of May by this point, and thus more spring-like conditions are inevitable, and temperatures are going to be quite mild even on the mountain slopes in the 40s and possibly even 50s for Easter Sunday. So we do have plenty of snow depth and they are groomed, but expect the snow to start melting and getting a lot more wet in the next couple days.